Katherine Tarlton is a travelling player on the lam, with a bounty in gold on her head for stabbing a nobleman's heir in his poxied stones, and a habit of pinching things that don't belong to her. When she's recruited by a small band of problem solvers who do dirty deeds, dirt cheap, and with decided discretion, Kit figures she's found the perfect place to disappear. She's passing as a boy, falling for a working girl they lodge with, who's vexed to discover Kit lacks a yard, and can finally take a breath from running. But when she nicks a shiny puzzle tube on her first job, it reveals a plot to unseat the Queen's heretic bastard arse, and possessing it makes the Stygian Blades accessories to treason. Now the conspirators want it back, and worse, the Queen's own spymaster might be in on it. They can't run, can't inform, and can't pretend they never opened it. The only way out is to unravel the conspiracy themselves, before either side unravels them. Act 1, Scene 5. Kit looked up the steep stairs and took a deep breath before climbing them. Once at the top, she hesitated for a good long spell, swallowed the lump in her throat, and then knocked twice, hard. When there was no answer, she knocked again, harder. "Swive the martyrs with a devil's flaying yard," a deep, gravelly voice bellowed. "Are you trying to beat the poxed door off its shite-stained hinges?" "Sorry," Kit called through the door. "'Tis Kit. I mean, the lad who ain't a lad, what pinched your purse." She heard the scraping of a chair across a wooden floor and heavy boots thumping before the door creaked open like all the damned souls in the void. The captain filled the doorway, and Kit craned her neck to meet his glare. His left eye twitched. "I gave Zara back your purse," she said. He stepped aside and ushered her into the attic loft. It was cramped and cluttered, lit only by a lonely, guttering lamp, and smelled of stale sweat, bad aquavitae, and regret. He turned the chair around and straddled it, the wood creaking under his weight, and leaned against the back, indicating the sagging bed with a scarred hand. "So, Kit, ist?" he said. She nodded and sat on the bed, its ropes creaking. "What happens now? Zara said you were interested in my fingers, but I don't see why, seeing as you caught me." "That I did, but most wouldn't have noticed. Me, you see." He tapped his nose with a thick, gnarled finger. "I got a knack for catching things that don't want to be caught." "So you're looking for me to pinch something for you? I'm a player first, purse cutter second, and never a burglar." "Maybe, maybe not." He pushed up his sleeves, exposing ropey forearms covered with a mess of livid scars, and then reached over to his desk and plucked up a broadside, pursing his lips as he scanned it. Pulling a pair of brass-rimmed spectacles out of his doublet, he put them on and cleared his throat. "By the grace of Her Majesty's Justice, a proclamation from the Sheriff's Men of Fryhaven, under the command of the Right Honourable Lord Umberlow." Kit froze, and her breath caught as he read on. "All true subjects take heed. The base craven wench Katherine Tarlton, a dissembling vagrant, is fled from Elm's Henge, having committed the most heinous and unnatural murder of the virtuous Master Richard Percy, heir to the noble Baron of Umberlow." She gasped, and her hands flew to her face. If he died from his wounds, it didn't just mean a flogging and perhaps a long stretch in the jail anymore. She'd be hanged. Kocht ignored her. "The godly gentleman, struck down in the flower of his youth, was felled by the hand of this wicked, freckled trull, whose soul is stained with blood. Mark her well. The wanton jade hath auburn tresses, green eyes that gleam with devilry, a wan and ghostly countenance, flecked with motes of reddish hue, as if marked by Asdrael's own quill, and a lean, scrawny frame, unfit for honest labour. She is known to sport the motley garb of a strolling player, with a tongue honed for deceit. Pausing to look her up and down, he snorted and pushed his spectacles up on the bridge of his nose. Then he tapped the paper. Now this is where it becomes interesting. £5 sterling is offered for the capture of this lewd strumpet, be she taken living or dead. Let no man shelter this foul creature, lest he incur the wrath of the flayed god and her majesty's law. Etc., etc. It naturally continues on for some length with moralizing rhetoric and calls to civic duty. He held the broadside out to her. Not the most flattering depiction. I'd wager you agree. Kit's vision tunnelled as she peered at the woodcut of a hideous spotted woman with a bloody cleaver standing over the splayed body of a man. £5 was more than her entire troop brought in over a full season, sometimes even an entire harvest. Clutching the fabric of her slops with white knuckles, she exhaled slowly as Kocht put the broadside back on the desk and removed his spectacles. He pointed to her with them. "Is't true, Katherine? Did you murder Lord Umberlow's heir?" She considered bolting for the door, but doubted she'd make it far. After a long, tense moment, she nodded. "What were the circumstances?" he asked. She furrowed her brow. Nobody ever cared about that. She was a travelling player, little better than a vagrant, and the randy lout was a lord's eldest son. She'd hang regardless. Kocht simply raised an eyebrow and waited for her to reply. "'Twas an accident," she finally said, a tremor forming in her voice as she recalled the episode. "He made unwanted advances, and when I protested, he became violent." She cast her eyes about the loft helplessly. "The silverware was under me on the table, so I grabbed a knife and then I ran. Haven't stopped running since." Kocht grunted in reply. "What now?" she asked. "You sell me to Lord Umberlow for the noose?" She figured it was best just to get this over with. She'd given the slip and then... She didn't know what then. She'd just keep running. "I could," he considered. £5 is a lot of coin for one wicked, freckled trull. "I ain't no trull," she replied hotly. "I might be wicked and freckled, but I'm still a maid." "Truly?" he asked. When she replied with a scowl, he chuckled and held up his hands. "No slight on your virtue intended. That coin'd fill our coffers, aye, but a lass who can nick a purse under my nose'll earn us tenfold in scarce a dozen moons. So no, I don't reckon I'm going to sell you to that cankered noble. Incidentally, due to your gender and youth, you'd likely be beheaded, not hanged. But removing your head from your shoulders would be a waste of your talents." He pointed at her. "But that means you're indebted to me for £5, so I own your scrawny arse now." She furrowed her brow. "Like an indenture?" "Think of it more as an apprenticeship. You're scrappy, not half-addled in the head, and show promise." He tapped his nose again. "I can smell potential." It could be worse, she supposed. In fact, it could be a lot worse. Zara wasn't wrong about her odds of surviving on these streets alone. "What exactly do you do?" she asked. "Little bit of this, little bit of that." He waggled a hand. "We're not picky and we don't ask questions." "So you're thieves?" He looked offended. "Nay, we're no mere rogues or sellswords, but problem solvers. A fellowship of uncommon talents, if you will. We do dirty deeds, dirt cheap, and with decided discretion. He stood from the chair and cracked his big knuckles. It'd be wise to keep wearing breeches and hiding your dugs for now. We'll get you better clothes than those rags you're wearing. So, what do you say? You in? Kit eyed him. Doesn't sound like I have a choice. That's the spirit, lass. Then let me be the first to welcome you to the Stygian Blades mercenary company. He strode over and took her hand in a crushing grip, pumping her arm. You can sleep in the stable loft. Zara will see to getting you settled. The Stygian Blades is a dark and bawdy late Tudor secondary world fantasy featuring a motley cast of mages, rogues, trolls, and a sticky-fingered actress. As they race to save their own skins, they couldn't give a clipped farthing about the Queen. The complete performance of Act 1 is now available on SoundCloud and YouTube. Visit StygianBlades.com for updates and exclusive content.